Alright, we are here in the shed today working on the 812. The 814 is still out there. I did get that turning over, however. This thing is actually running decently. I probably should clean the carb on this, but I haven't yet. I also don't think that muffler is too good. But today, the main thing we're going to be fixing is the whole fact that it does not go forward. So, I'm going to start this up here a second. Pull this forward, it don't go forward. It'll creep, but it won't go forward. I'm pretty sure what the deal with that is the whole fact that there's no pad on the clutch. So there's nothing to grip it as it's spinning. But first here, I want to see if I can just take a pad off of here and if it'll plug into that one. Because this one, I will get running soon. Here's the plow blade. I'm going to paint this sometime. And not today though, because it's supposed to rain. But here on the 814, I kind of started working on it. I can't get it to run, but I need carb cleaner and a new carb because it leaks horribly. I'm going to take one of those pads off there. I don't know if it'll work, but I want to get a pad off of there just to see if it's even worth. I do have a pad in here somewhere. I don't know where that could be though. It's either in the wheelbarrow. I feel like I put it back here though. Just take a peek in here. Oh, there it is. Here's that pad. I don't think that's the right size though. I think maybe it is, but there's that pad. I'm going to take this outside though because it is probably 5,000 degrees in here. So I gotta knock this down. What I want to do today is actually put the plow on there, and I have a little task I want to do with this. When we pulled the 814 off the trailer, since the back tires are flat and the hitch plate is upside down, it like really dug into the ground, so I want to hook that up to the trailer, pull a little dirt up there, and then maybe try to level it with a blade. I don't know. And also maybe shove some of those logs there from the lilac tree that we took out. And also the compost pile. But yeah, that's just a hope. These tires are not very good. They do hold air for a little bit, but they are definitely not the best. So I'm going to take this outside here a minute, and then we'll get to work. Alright, so here we are out here. We're going to first start by taking the 2 bolts there off. And then we're going to get the this plate here off. Then you got to take this linkage out. And then we're going to be able to pull that clutch off. I am getting a carb for this, as I said, but this also needs a little bit more work. Because me being too smart, I stripped one of the bolts out for that. So, yeah. So I need to actually re-bore that and stuff. So, what I want to try to do here, that tire cap is about to fall off. I'm going to fix that pad. Like I said, I just want to try to just swap them out. I don't even know if the pad in here would even work with that because it is for the 817. So I guess we'll find out. So yeah, I'm going to start by taking that plate off. And hopefully just swapping them out, and this will go forward again. Reverse is not very strong at all. Very sluggish, but it does work. So hopefully I can get that functioning. This actually, I think, starts decently well. I just turned the choke on and, I don't know, 3-4 revolutions. It turned right on. The only issue I had with it so far is the starter got stuck. But I do have another carb coming for this, and of course, like I said earlier, the 814. But I don't think I'm going to need that. This thing, that's leaking, it looks like. Maybe not. It's wet there. I don't know what that's from. At least it looks wet. But alright, yeah. Let's get to it. Alright, so first off here, let's take the whatever you want to call it, clamp, whatnot. I'm gonna take that off. 3/4 wrench for these two. I'm gonna take that off, both of them off here, because it'll probably take a bit. Alright, so I got that pad off there. Now we just gotta take this linkage out, which is a cotter pin. So I'm gonna get some pliers here a minute and take that out. Also don't know how, but there has been a spider web formed here. I think pretty much since the day after I got it. Oh well, not too huge of an issue, but I also noticed there's probably about 1 inch of oil on top of this crankcase for the gearbox, so that's probably not good. I'm hoping it's not transmission fluid and something else happened, but judging how it's all on the transmission, it most likely is transmission fluid. So I'm gonna go get those pliers and pull the linkage out. Actually, I might just be able to, yeah. So I need pliers. Actually, I still might need pliers because I can't get that out like that. So, for anyone unfamiliar in how these transmissions work, when you push the lever forward, this plate pushes into that plate, and on the other side there, the plates separate. And when you go backward, this plate separates, and that plate compresses. I'm not exactly sure how they physically work, but that's kind of a general understanding of how they do work. What I do know is it's pretty intricate inside there. With, I don't know, at least 10, maybe 10 years. But it's pretty intricate in there. And I really do not want to take one apart unless I absolutely have to. Anyways, let's go fix that clutch. With that linkage out of the way, this should be able to slide out. Except, for some reason, it is stuck. Might have to put it out of gear. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. I might have to get a pulley puller on there, which would mean I have to take the whole tire off to get in there. Or not. That'll work just fine as well. Now it's just a matter of getting it out of the tire and up here. Now this piece, even though it looks pretty small, is actually quite heavy. And as you can see, there is not a lick of pad on there. It did rub a little bit at one point. But nothing much. On this side, this should be able to pop off, but it don't. That's not exactly nice. This is actually a little bit different than the 817's pulley. I'm not exactly sure how, but I'm pretty sure it's geared on all sides, and that one's just a split key. I don't know if that's a transmission issue because it's a little bigger or what. But yeah, it's a little different. So, I'm going to actually take the pad off of there and see if I can just transplant it into here just to see if this is even worth driving or saving. Or if I have to rebuild it completely. It does spin. As you can see, when that spins, it does spin. So, if it is really just the pad, I will take this and actually put a pad on that and put it back on here and put the 814s back on the 814. If I can't use it, then I guess I will wait and see if I can rivet it myself. But I want to make sure that the pad will actually fit it, which it does seem to. Which basically means I would have to drill it and rivet it. So I'm going to do the same process I did with this one. Take that pad off of there. It does look pretty similar to me. And it does actually have a little bit of pad on there. So hopefully it'll work. Also, for some reason on this one, the reverse pad is practically nothing. On that one, the forward pad is practically nothing. So if I had to assume, probably the forward pad was replaced at one point and the reverse pad wasn't. And on this one, reverse was probably also replaced. The nice thing about the 812 here is if I ever do get a front mount attachment, I could, as long as it does not have a PTO. So now I have to transplant the PTO out of that into there. Because for whatever reason, this one does not, or has the front PTO. I also might put that on the 812 for the time being, just so it has a little bit more purpose than pushing a blade. I did not get this freed up whatsoever. I mean, it does work, it's just not very good. So, I don't know exactly how well that does work for pushing other things in snow. I assume it would be fine. It's got a metal blade on it on the other side for a wear strip. So, I'm hoping it'll be okay, at least for snow. Maybe moving that a little bit at a time. I do want to try to push that big pile of junk a little closer together, and I think this would work pretty well for that. So, I'm going to turn the camera off now and go see if I can transplant a clutch. Alright, I might have forgot to hit record, but the new clutch, or the new to this clutch, is on, and hopefully it will work. So I guess let's see. Alright, so I noticed one thing right off the bat here, which is that pin scrapes against the clutch. And it's throwing sparks, which is not good. So, I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe I got a washer in there or something. But, you also noticed I probably should get that a little tighter. So we're just gonna do this a little bit. Get that nice and tight, and then we should be pretty much good to go. That should be good enough. I'm gonna have to get a little shorter pin to go there because I do not want that hitting there for too long. But I want to get on here and make sure that it's gonna move properly. Alright, so I drove it around there, around up to here, and it worked just fine. Had fourth gear, full speed basically, which is good. So yeah, I think the next step that I want to do here is put the plow back on and see if she'll push anything. Which is easier said than done, depending on how this goes. Now I don't know for sure if I actually have the pins for the hitch there. I guess we'll find that out. But if you don't know, these are actually very easy to put on there. That little thing hanging down right there, that hooks onto that piece there, and then the two things on the back just slide back in there. It's pretty simple. I think these big pins are the cotter pins, I hope. But yeah, but you kind of have to you got to take this off here, and it's an interesting task. But I have to kind of get it off this table first, so I'm going to do that. And then I will get back to you guys when that's back on there. Alright, so that did actually pretty good. I came at it from this side again to push it this way. As you can see, it piled pretty much everything up. That's actually kind of impressive. I could have pushed it all the way to the shed and back, and it didn't bog or anything. But it piled it up nicely. Now, I have to get probably just get another machine out to go mow that little area, but otherwise that thing worked good. Now in this time of video, I think the tradition will be for a long time is get all the Graveleys lined up somewhere, and take a quote-unquote family photo, but I don't want to do that at this moment. Just because this thing is not fully 100% yet. I can't really tell, but it looks like it might be leaking something on the muffler. I don't know though. It's also running pretty darn hot, which I guess that is kind of a Gravely thing to do, because the 817 also does that. But otherwise, it's a pretty nice machine. It gets the job done. I'm debating on taking the tire chains off. I do plan on using this to plow in the winter, but also just doing things like pushing brush and pushing dirt and junk around would also be something. But I also want to mow with it. That is also why I'm looking for another 40-inch deck, front mount or back mount. I don't really care. But yeah, because I want, this one to have a job as well, besides just sitting here for parts. But since that was the issue, I'm going to put a new pad on the clutch and put that on there, and either put it back on there or put the one from there onto there. I don't know exactly yet. I was running it without an air filter because I don't really know if it would suck air through this. It's pretty bad. The one on here was even worse. Actually, that's in there. But it's pretty rowdy. But yeah, that is basically it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. I do plan on getting this thing resurrected soon. I just don't know exactly when. But it'll be soon. And then work on that. I'm thinking, at least in the time being, while that's getting fixed, convert that one over to be mowed, or mow with it. But yeah, otherwise that is that. I'm debating on putting a new carb on this, because when I did start it before I started the video, it ran pretty darn rough. Or it started really, really hardly. And also, I think the choke is on a hair. Well, it's not on very much, but it was on. So I think I will have to either put a new carb on that or at least clean that. But as for this one, I don't know if I said already, but this one does run. It just doesn't run without starting fluid. I have to shoot starting fluid into the carb. I cleaned the carb out really good, but it's just leaking so much that it really does not do anything good for us. And also, the fuel coming out of there was pretty much the color of the dirt. It probably was turning back into a dinosaur, if I had to guess. But otherwise, that does need that. And also, like I said earlier, that bolt needs to be fixed as well. What I do not want to do is use this for parts. I want to actually get this running and use this as a secondary to the secondary to the secondary to the secondary tractor. Because as of now, the main mower is the ProMaster, followed by 817, followed by the 5240, and then my least favorite, the John Deere. For no particular reason other than it's not red. One day I will do a video on doing some stuff with that, but I won't be anytime soon. But yeah, it's a never-ending cycle. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.